Actually, I did have, do not longer have. So this was actually in a shock doc that I watched on Discovery Channel. It is some of the first serious ghost hunters before Ed and Lorraine Warren, and this is one of the first recorded EVPs. It is a man that was studying deep into. We've talked about him before, and I just can't remember his name. He come from like Germany or somewhere around there to the U.S. and started living here, but he got really into the paranormal. Essentially, this recording is him speaking with a psychic, and they're doing an EVP session and talking to the ghost of his dead father.
Okay, let's take a listen.
Yes, if you speak just as you do usually, it'll be quite right.
Pause real quick, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to make this clear for anybody that's listening, and I guess for you guys too. So you'll hear the louder voice that sounds more prominent. That would be the actual ghost hunting dude. The whisper is supposed to be the fucking EVP of somebody talking back to him. Which, if it's real, it's full sentences, which I've never heard of.
I've never heard that before either. Well, this is my first time hearing this, and
Yeah.
that is, I mean, like Jern was saying, if that's the that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I can't distinguish. I think I heard the word something about the children in there. I don't know for sure. It's very hard. It's even hard to hear the questions that may be being asked.
Yeah,
if
well,
there's even
it's
questions
really
being
old
asked.
audio, so
Yeah,
it's a wonder that it's even found.
We'll move along here and get a hit play on this.
Okay.
Well, that's very curious. I heard, as it were, Peter's voice, and thought you were imitating it. Oh, did she want to come in for a little bit? Sandwiching it. Oh, yes. No. But that's most interesting because I just...
So I just want to point out something. Does it sound to you like he's having a full-on conversation?
It's a full conversation, and it doesn't seem like a bad one because he's laughing about stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what's throwing me off. So, this ghost hunter individual, can he hear this with his naked ear? He has to. Right?
So, this is either them recording through something.
Yeah.
Or this is doing a recording of him talking to the psychic and she's channeling the dad.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So like she's taken over by the dad and she's talking, or this is
kind of like in Insidious when she puts the mask on.
Well, I was just...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Simply heard two or three of her characteristic whispers, and wondered if she was having through for a moment there. Oh, yes. The important thing now is to get a good a few minutes from you. I think it's quite... Yes, there's no need for effort. You're quite distinct enough always. She is there, yes. Have you met him again recently? Yes, it will be very welcome.
I don't know. Did y'all hear? Because to me, it sounded like he said, "I want to say what's on my mind."
I heard something very similar to that, but I heard the word "save," like something save.
Okay.
And I'm curious. I wonder what he said when he said, "Oh, there's no need for that."
Yeah, I heard that too, and I was like,
I
okay.
wonder what he's getting at. I wonder what the receiving of that is. Like, I wish there was a transcript. I don't know if anybody out there has ever decoded this into a transcript manner. It'd probably be very difficult.
he kept a lot of journals, so I would say that they probably have that written down.
I'm very fascinated by this individual, and I kind of want to do some more research on them. Do you have their name by any chance?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, I have it. 1 second.
This is like, man, I'll say this. This is definitely out there on the scale. Like, I feel like we should have saved this one for last at this point. I didn't know. But my God,
we might be delivering a stinker with the last one.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to any of these EVPs. This is my first time, so I don't know what we're going to be getting delivered. But I will admit, this is if this is legitimate. What is that noise?
The dog and the cat are fighting. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's fair enough. Anyway, this is crystal clear. Well, relatively speaking for EVP.
I have the rundown for it.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear a little bit more about that.
So, this specific EVP, the first spirit voice was recorded on tape by Reverend Drayton Thomas while working with Gladys Osborne, a famous medium of the 1940s. So she channels his deceased father during a seance in, once again, the 1940s. And psychologist Raymond Bayless and psychic Adelia von, I cannot pronounce the last name, researched the recording of the EVP from hearing voices around them. So they were hearing voices around them actively while this was going on, too. Attempts were made to record these voices, but the attempts had failed. A cord connected to the microphone led to a tape recorder outside of the cabinet, which was connected to a loudspeaker, and they could hear whispers while the channeling was happening.
That's interesting. So I'm assuming the whispers that we're hearing now was the actual medium.
Yeah, that's her channeling.
Okay.
But if you hear her talking like a full conversation, and then you hear other stuff that sounds fainter in the background, which they said that they couldn't pick it up, but they said that while she was channeling, there were other voices around the room.
Oh, that's interesting.
They had 2 psychics there, a psychologist and this reverend that was into the other side of the, rainbow
spectrum. Yeah. Well, what do you guys think?
To me, that is let's just say if this is legit and there's no BS behind it, that is the most horrifying EVP EVP I've ever heard. Fluid conversating, like, okay, if they done this back then, what's going on today? Is it really all just a publicity stunt to be on TV?
Yeah.
EVPs out there that are like this, similar to this.
So for me, this is one of those situations where it's very hard to say whether or not it actually is an EVP, where it is communicating via, someone else. But I guess technically at the end of the day, is a medium technically just a more physical, tangible form of an electronic voice phenomenon? But there's no electronic there. It's just more of a voice phenomenon, a supernatural voice phenomenon.
Yeah. They're like a translator or...
I don't know. Yeah. It's very... it's very strange, for sure.
I don't know if I would consider it I guess it's an EVP because it's recorded, but...
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point.
It's kind of like the auto writing, too, though. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's another
the automatic writing that they do. Because how can you prove that you were possessed? You could just be writing whatever you want.
100%. Well, I'll say this, too. I think that a lot of individuals who do this type of stuff, I would love to get a medium on the show, basically. Like that's something that I think we've been talking about.
Working on that.
I want to pick their brain, like just get in there a little bit, just nice and deep, like. I'm curious.
I'm with you on that.
Scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys rate this?
I think it's real, but I don't know what to make of it. If we put it in the EVP category, it is the most full sentenced EVP. That's a conversation. But if you don't, if you're just putting it into the category of a seance, I don't know. I'm gonna give it 7.5.
Wow. Okay, that's high.
8. 7.5. No, we'll do 7.5.
Okay, that's still pretty high.
Yeah. I think. Because I do believe it is real. Just because back when people would do this, there was no BS into it. They're like, we're going to get this medium in here. In fact, we're going to get 2 in here. Oh, and then we're going to do this. So I do believe it's real. As far as an EVP, I don't know if I would necessarily call it that, just because it's getting translated through someone else.
Exactly.
But it's being recorded.
Yeah, I mean it is. So
it's a catch-22.
So in that case, since this was recorded, this is technically an EVP. He agrees. Yeah, he's like, he knows all about it.
Oh man.
But I would say 7.5, 8 maybe.
Okay.
7.5.
I'm gonna have to go. Just like I said, it's a catch-22. Definitely a story that can convince me, but I wasn't there, so I don't know, and we'll never know. So I got to go with. Is it creepy? Yeah, it's creepy. Is it real? I don't know. Could be. It sounds, I guess.
There's apparently several of these recordings on reel-to-reel tape, and that's.
I want to go back. I want to dive into this dude's catalog of this just to see. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Look up.
It wouldn't even go that high though, but it's one of those things. It's creepy. So.
Yeah, you'd have to look up the psychics because she did a lot of this, which is Bayless that I was talking about. Gladys Osborne and Salazar. Frederick Jurgensen is a Swedish man that also did this, and he has a shit ton of stuff that would probably be something really good to look at. Old Jurgensen believed highly in EVPs.
This could turn into a whole segment. I love this stuff, man. This is wow. So we got a few more. In here.
Onward.
We'll have to keep one of these brief because, it's a long boy. I don't know. Should I save the long boy for the end, or should I save? Or should I just do it? Pull the trigger. All right.
Yeah, give us
so this next one actually comes from an old Coast to Coast AM radio show. I don't know if anybody knows of that, but it was with Art Bell apparently back in the day. And this was a caller that called in. I'm not going to play his clip because I don't know if that would get us dinged on Spotify or anything, but I will jump forward to the actual EVP. So here we go. So, there's definitely a voice in there.
It sounds like a child or a female.
But it also sounds like somebody is plunging a toilet.
I was thinking moving furniture around, like Sunday
Okay.
school just let out, and she's moving those metal fold-up chairs around the room.
I need 2 strong boys. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Can I get 2 strong young men to help? Fucking
Yeah. So that's what it is. They need 2 strong boys to help them
That's
move
it.
chairs. I don't know. We just busted that open.
Ghost busted, baby.
It's fun thing because I was thinking about around rapidly in a bathtub.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. There's definitely some water in there. And you know the gentleman who I like I said, I want to play the Art Bell clip just to give everybody more context of what the hell's going on, but I don't want to get dinged. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna do it. We're not gonna get dinged for that.
Nah.
Tune out if the kind of thing disturbs you. It might. So this first one is going to require some special attention, right?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Oh, I was like, this is the clearest EVP I've ever heard.
Easily the oddest recording that we've ever recorded, even ever heard. It's just so different from anything we've played.
Why?
The length of it, for one, it's almost 2 minutes long.
Oh, my goodness.
And at the time this was recorded, nobody was in the room. What had happened is I had been recording at the upper level of this mental hospital for a while.
Right.
And my battery started going low on my laptop.
Right.
So I moved the laptop downstairs into this room that was way off at the very end of the building and plugged it in and set it on a shelf and just let it sit there and record. And after I did that, I started walking out of the room and went outside, and everybody else had followed us out there, and everybody was sitting outside at the time this was recorded. And it sat there silent for about 7 minutes. And then all of a sudden, after about 7 minutes, you hear what can only be described as a child. And followed by the child, you hear an older man, and then the child again. And the child keeps going on and on.
This was recorded again in a completely empty room.
Yes.
And there's no chance that conversation going on outside that room by any of you or anybody else could have been what we're about to hear.
Oh, no, definitely. And for one, it is, to me, definitely a child. There's no question that...
You had no children anywhere near?
We never have children.
Sounds like Larry David.
Anyone under the age of 18 anywhere near our investigations. The other odd thing is, for about 15 to 20 seconds at the end of this recording, you hear water, and you hear it splashing and splashing back and forth, and almost a thrashing sound. And then you're going to hear a thud, and the sound just dies. You hear nothing else after that. In fact, the next thing you'd hear is me coming in to pick up the laptop and move it.
So that's interesting, because we clearly heard that water.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing that stood out to me was the plunging sound.
The voice to me. When was this clip done?
Had to be pretty modern. Well, Art
'Cause he
Bell
said
passed away. Yeah. I don't know. I would assume probably mid 2000s maybe.
So there is either 1970s or 1980s after school special called Once Upon a Midnight Scary, hosted by Vincent Price. He picks 3 books for children, and then they do like a short little live action for it. And the first one is The Ghost Belonged to Me by Richard Peck. And the girl in sounds exactly like the girl that we... And that's the only thing that's kind of got me like, what? Like...
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the same harrowing sound of the voice, the echo.
The octave range.
Yes.
That's interesting. I don't know. I just now noticed that the title... I'm stupid for not reading this earlier, but it says the title of this EVP is Child Drowning Exchange.
See, that's what... Yeah, so like...
I mean, there you go.
Oh, there we go. What can you do?
If you remember The Grudge, whenever the child's getting drowned and the kicking and splashing, that's what it made me think of when I heard the water.
You know what? So are you thinking that maybe this gentleman may have doctored this sound a little bit, kind of for to get a pop out of
I
someone?
think he just like recorded bath time at his household for his children, and he's just like,
Maybe he did. Yeah.
Susie, where's your ducky? No. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, because the first part that does, it sounds ghostly, and even the water part, but it's just a little odd. And I mean, I know everybody says this because this is how it happens. As soon as you're starting to walk back in the room, it stops, of course, because if they're there, they can hear you.